Hey everyone, just a quick video this week. Sorry I went kind of long last week, so I'll really try and keep it brief this time. First things, a couple of housekeeping things. For the quiz this week, which will be posted Tuesday, I want you to focus on the New York Times. I know it's a site that many of you visit, but let's look at it in terms of judging what their news is. Maybe compare and contrast it in your mind to CNN.com. I don't think I'll ask any specific questions about that on the quiz, but it's something that I kind of want you to think about. As the summer progresses, I'm going to assign you to look at sites that might seem even less and less newsy than those. But I think it's a good way to kind of introduce you to sites that you might not have known before. Actually, in fact, it's funny that I say Newsy. I think that'll be our site for next week, for week 3. Or actually week 4, sorry. But, I'm getting ahead of myself there. For this week, we're talking about beats. You're reading chapters 8 and 10 in the textbook. And I've expanded a little bit what I've done with what I wanted to say and teach about beats this time, because when I teach news writing at the university, I used to require all the students to select a beat and to write about sources they might contact and stories they might do on that beat. I moved away from it for the last couple of quarters here at Ohio, and now I'm really kicking myself, because I saw what happens if you don't get students thinking about areas that they can cover and thinking about people that they talk to commonly. It makes them a little bit aimless, I found. It makes them have a really hard time not just finding stories to write about, but finding people to talk to for the stories they do decide. I was really surprised these last couple of quarters what a hard time some students had in finding somebody that they could interview. Maybe that was just the students, but I really think that it's important to get students thinking about and saying, okay, I'm going to have to focus on these sources for the stories that I have to do. In the discussion board question, I ask you guys to think about how your publications are structured or how you might structure a publication. And I'm not saying you have to go with a beat system, but it's something that I want you to think about and want you to discuss this week. I know in working in newspapers, the beat system always really helped us. And I've added a little bit too this time about how the beat system is changing. We really used to structure our beats at the newspapers I worked at around physical areas. You covered the north side of town. You covered cops and courts. You covered these people. And some of the work that people like Jane Ellen Stevens are doing, I mentioned her in the PowerPoint for this week, with this idea of beat blogging, of instead of blogging around an area of town, really focus on the topic and take that topic and cover it in a way that you only can on the internet. I think they're making some great steps. And that's one of the other reasons why I decided to focus a little bit more on beats in this class and to really talk to my students and force them to find beats for the news writing class I teach next fall. I hope this is good information. Again, if you have questions, email me. Thanks again for a good week. I've enjoyed the discussion board. I'm just getting into your blogs right now and trying to get those graded before I go. So thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.